bring in Daniel Gilford. He's a meteorologist and climate scientist over at Climate Central. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us. Now, we were just speaking to our reporter right there. She's in Jacksonville. I understand that you're in Orlando, which is inland. What are you seeing there right now?
Yeah, right now there's occasional gusts coming through here or there. We actually had a gust that knocked over a tree in my backyard earlier. Thankfully, everyone is safe, but there's definitely are impacts here on the ground in Orlando. Of course, we aren't dealing with the flooding that we're seeing, particularly on the West Coast and parts of the East Coast along Georgia, for instance.
So let's talk a little bit about climate change and how maybe warmer waters are affecting these storm systems. Earlier the FEMA administrator was calling this one of the worst storms that Florida has seen in 100 years. Do you agree with that?
I think it's a very dramatic storm, and in particular, the way in which it sort of rapidly intensified overnight is pretty extraordinary. Right now we are seeing temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico that are warmer than they've ever been in modern human history. Those warm temperatures mean there's a lot more energy available for the storm, so it can sort of grab that energy, convert it into winds, and then those winds do a few things. They actually cause damage, like we're seeing here in Florida across much of it, but they also bring along water, sort of fetching along the water along the coastlines that drives storm surge along the West Coast right now. We've seen quite intense storm surge. And so those two things are happening as the sea surface temperatures are getting warmer. The storm has more energy available to it. It's a little too early to speculate on whether this particular storm was influenced by those warm sea surface temperatures, but we know for sure those sea surface temperatures are there, and the environment is really conducive to a powerful storm like Idalia has been.
And Daniel, as you and I have been talking, we've been looking at this video of the storm surge and that rising water, which is quite frightening. What do you think folks should expect at this point?
Yeah, I think it's important to stay vigilant. Damages can still occur sort of after hurricanes occur. As things are settling, I would just be really careful and cautious as you're cleaning up. I think we should expect that as things eventually return to normal, these damages also have sort of a long tail. We have to think about how are we going to build back? How are we going to increase the resilience of our coastal communities against extreme events like this? And how are we going to address our climate contributions going forward? We know these extreme temperatures in the Gulf played a part in sort of changing the environment in which this storm grew. So are we going to reduce our carbon pollution going forward, which can limit warming and potentially reduce the amount of intensity these storms can bring?
And we're talking far ahead into the future, obviously, but I want to go ahead and get through this hurricane season, Daniel. What more can we expect to see in terms of this hurricane season specifically? I know that we are on Storm I. How bad could it get?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a little bit difficult to say, 3, 4 weeks from now, what could occur. We already know there's still some tropical activity that we're seeing right out there in the Atlantic, and sea surface temperatures are quite a bit warmer than what we normally expect this time of year. Even though this is already our hurricane season. So we would expect the hurricane season to remain active. Whether or not we'll have a storm quite like Idalia again, it's a little too early to say, but the conditions are ripe for a storm like Idalia to occur again. And so I would just caution anyone who lives along the Gulf Coast or the eastern seaboard to remain vigilant because this season isn't over yet.
All right, Daniel Gilford, climate scientist at Climate Central. Daniel, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.